Hi, welcome. This is the video where we are going to talk about what we did last month. It's February 2020, and in my book this is really a changing point, a turning point, where we give you lots of freedom and give you lots of possibility, but still giving everybody else the same as we have done in the past. So we still have ArcoLinux ISO, ArcoXD and ArcoXB, but some things have changed. So let's go into it. So I'm very enthusiastic. I think it improves for the best. We had 35 ISOs and this time we have only 18 ISOs, which is better maintainability. Beta testers will be happy. It's less work every month to build because frankly, we have our distribution that release every month. Who does that, right? Every 6 months they get a release, but we tend to follow up every month and give a video. This is new and this is how we stay rolling. Those two videos will be there always every month. So only 18 ISOs. Let's go over them. These are all the topics we're gonna go over. And why is this so important? Well, first of all, inside we've gathered more information. We've talked and investigated and read Python and read Calamares modules, etc. And we are getting more and more to grips with all the code in there. And from now on, from the ISO, we can say, I want to have NVIDIA, or I want to have NVIDIA LTS, or I want to have NVIDIA 390. So it's all inside Calamares where you make the choice. We don't need to build an NVIDIA or a Linux LTS ISO for it. It's just there. The only thing is you need to have internet, otherwise you can't install the extra packages coming from the net. So that's the catch. 18 ISOs is much better to maintain and to test for us and for the beta testers for the ArcoLinux team. So that's better. In short, because this is going to be a long video, in short, ArcoLinux ISO, it stays the same. If you don't do anything in this window, if you don't do anything, don't click anything, you'll still have the ArcoLinux ISO as always, as last year, right? It's just an update and you'll get Firefox in, Google Chrome in, well, not Google Chrome, Chromium and Vivaldi. So they're always there. The three browsers, GIMP, Inkscape, the stuff we need. This is our flagship. This is our development ISO. We need this stuff. We need it to develop ArcoLinux. So most of the time we're on that one. So if you don't select anything here, which is the new part, then everything will still be the same. The ArcoXD ISO has been changed considerably in the sense that it's now really a bare ISO. But if you want to go very bare, then it's ArcoLinux, guys. There's no other solution to go to phase 5. But ArcoXD provides, of course, a graphical installer. You get a Calamares look, click, and you have a ArcoLinux based ISO, right? We have the feel of an ArcoLinux system. It's not ArcoLinux, it's ArcoXD, right? But you'll see that it is really a change because there are no more remnants of XFCE4. You will literally see what you'll see on ArcoLinux. The Mate, the XFCE, the Cinnamon, that's straight out of the box coming from ArcoLinux will have the same look and feel on ArcoXD. That's great. ArcoXB does not have any full ISOs anymore. We got rid of the full ISOs. It's I don't know, depending on the desktop. Anyway, more than 2 GB, right? And we went for minimal ISOs where you select the software inside Calamares. Since we've now accumulated the knowledge to add more and more stuff to Calamares, well, let's start with the minimal then, and then you choose if you want LibreOffice or WP Office, etc, etc. All the files you want to install, and even if there are more things like people making music, for instance, they need more specific software. You make a script, you run it afterwards, and you have everything you need. That's the idea. More freedom, more choices, but in the end, you choose what you put on your system. Because ArcoXB, the B stands for building, right? You can download it, you can select the software, but basically, really, you should download the GitHub, build the ISO any way you see fit, without all the browsers, with a new browser, etc. It's all up to you, but then you should build it. All right, so that's the general overview, right? ArcoLinux ISO. These things have been changed, and there's a particular news article as well written about it in here. ArcoLinux created 18 ISOs for you to download or build. So we're going to go over the differences and what we've done the last month. So our ArcoLinux ISO, which contains XFC, OpenBox, i3. Lots of people love it. They have exactly what I need. All the browsers are there. GIMP is there, Inkscape is there. They want to have it, and it's great for them, right? The way we provide it, they like it. Now, if you want to have less software, that's not possible unless you build it. Again, well, it's part of well, sharing knowledge. We have an ArcoLinux B ISO. Go and have a look how to build your own ISO. So ArcoLinux is still our flagship, great, but it becomes our cruise ship because we can add more and more stuff to it. We can decide to have a Linux kernel without NVIDIA, which means it's the Linux kernel that's not on the ISO, the last one that's coming from ArcoLinux. Or we can decide that my computer really needs a Linux LTS because of. Then you click this and Linux LTS kernel will be present when you boot up. If you have NVIDIA and you need the driver, NVIDIA package or the NVIDIA 390 package, you select these guys together with Linux or Linux LTS. If you want to use Intel U-code or AMD U-code, select it, of course, just one. You just have one processor. And then accessories, you either click the top level or you go down inside the menu and click just a few of them and you install everything you need. These guys conflict with each other because, well, choose one, right? The latest, the newest, or the more stable version. And VirtualBox here as well, depending on the Linux kernel. Which one have you chosen? What is interesting, which is also new against last month, and we've heard this question before, is, well, I want to have a LibreOffice in French, Italian, Spanish, Russian, right? So it depends. If you select your Calamares, as you see here, it's in German. So if you select your Calamares in German, it will give the text here, but it will also use the locale, which is DE in this instance, to install spell DE, LibreOffice still DE. And it will end in a language choice. This is Le Saviez-vous? So it's French, and the other one, that's a picture for, is here the Tabellendokument, Präsentation, Zeichnung. So that's German. So anything lo sabía, so that's Spanish. So whatever you choose in the Calamares, install the language you choose here. That's this little thing that's going to be replaced with a DES for Spain and so on. So that's a great little trick I figured out, and you can immediately have LibreOffice in your proper language. Okay. ArcoXD is really the most minimal ISO you could have. Of course, there is an even more minimal, again, ArcoLinux, right? But if that's not in the stars for you right now, you can just stick with ArcoXD, for instance. If you do not install any of our packages, which is this thing, it's a quite complex thing, so I'm gonna go over it again because there is already a video about this, but some things have changed in the meantime. That's this part. What is important is, if you skip this entire window, this entire module, and say next, what you'll get is the ArcoXD we were having last year, right? It's just a choice again to click or not click. So it gives us an enormous amount of freedom to do whatever you want with the system. Okay, so it's a very minimal thing, and what says here, what's described here, is basically going over every element that's in here, and it also provides you knowledge to start a particular display or login manager. There are 4 available display managers. LightDM is our standard default one. but for Plasma maybe you'd like to have SEDM, and we've made something for you. Let's go into have a look at the image here, the text of the image. Some of these things you recognize with the stuff I just told you about ArcoLinux. So these things are almost the same, if not exactly the same. Then in ArcoXD, you end up in a black screen and you're supposed to go to github.com ArcoXD, get your GitHub scripts in and run them. Number 100, 105, 110, I don't know, all the numbers, right? But what you can do is also now another freedom, another way to experience ArcoLinux and also basically Arch Linux is to decide, well, I'm trying these things out on VirtualBox. I do not need Bluetooth, I do not need laptop support and so on. But you can also just click them and say, okay, let's install these packages already. Do not forget to enable services. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it goes automatically, but most of the time these guys are needed. So support for sound does not have it, so meaning it goes automatically. So basically, look at this image and think about chronologically what's going to happen to the computer. It's going to be more or less the Linux kernel that's going to be booted, Intel U code maybe prior to this one as well. But anyway, this is all Linux stuff booting up. Then the Bluetooth is support is launched and all the services are launched. Finally, the user sees something. He sees a login manager. He sees LightDM in our case. But you can decide to say, this time around, I'm going to use SEDM or GDM or LXDM. Now, GDM, just an example, GDM requires GNOME. It's the login manager of GNOME. So, okay, if you click this one and you want to install XFCE, you will get GNOME as well. It's a dependency, simple as that. So, SEDM is more for Plasma users, GDM is more for GNOME users, LXDM, LXQT, LXDE, and LightDM, well, that's why we chose it. It's for everything else. Again, it's just a standalone display manager. So you choose, and then you choose the desktop. And what desktop would you like to end up with, right? So it's just a click away. You have awesome BSP, WM, etc. Now remember, if you're running Tonic window manager, to do a scal. Our configuration is in etc scal. It will never ever be read by the Tonic window managers. It needs to be in your home directory, and that's our alias scal. Copy paste everything from etc scal to your home directory. Now the other guys, the real desktops like XFCE and Plasma, Mate, jumping that one, LXQT, GNOME, Deeping, Cinnamon, Budgie, that's it. Those are the real desktops. You don't need to do a scal. Try it out without scal. But all the tiling window managers, most of them need them. The scal, I mean. And then again, it's just software, right? It's just, do you want LibreOffice? Do you want this? Do you want that? It's just a choice whether you want to install these things or not. In Calamares, if you got internet, right? So it gives us a wide range of choices, freedom, and maybe a little bit more complexity. I get that. And that's why I draw these lines here. It's pretty obvious that these are all desktop stuff and these are all login stuff. But here it ends a little bit like the Linux kernel and all that. And this is more support and the software is down here. I do hope that Calamares will be able to split these guys in different windows, different modules. So we'll have one window with this, second window, third window, fourth window, fifth window, which gives it more, I think, educational aspect to it. We'll see. If not, you know how it is. So more choices straight out of Calamares. That's super important. That's why I call this, for me, a milestone, right? More freedom, more flexibility, more variety. ArcoXD is supposed to be the ISO that you built, not that we built. We should actually say, here are the scripts, build it, right? But yeah, okay. We have 15 desktops and one special one, which is the ArcoXD Extended, which promotes OpenBox and 6 tiling window managers. So those guys We've built them, you can download them, but basically we're telling you should edit the package list because maybe you don't like the browser, which is Firefox at this point in time as standard, and maybe you like another one, or you would like to include more software or less software. That's why you should build it. Okay, we are not talking anymore about full ISOs. We're talking about the ArcoLinux B ISO, which is basically a minimal ISO with several tools that we want. We want Firefox to be there, Sublime Text to be there, Mel to be there. Why? We need to develop on it, right? We need to make it better in the future. So we need to read something, write something, look something up, and compare something. Basically, those three things. All the rest is working. I mean, we need to have sound, we need to have Bluetooth and printers and all that. It's still there. So there are two options in ArcoLinux B. Either say not ready to build at all. So option 1, download. During installation, you get all kinds of choices to install additional packages, maybe a different kernel and so on. And you can also build it, and that's the idea, to give the users, you, the power to build something, to build your own ISO, right? To have a personal Eric Dubois ISO, right? That's great. And it's all there. It's just a text file. You put hashtags in front of it, and those packages will not be installed on the ISO. You type something more that exists, of course, and a package that is real in ArcoLinux and in maybe in the ArcoLinux ISO repo, and it will be installed on the ISO. So this is the normal general look on ArcoLinux B. It's again the same thing, all the Linux stuff and NVIDIA stuff, the microcode stuff, and lots of software you can install more, extra software on top of the ones that we need, the ones that are already there. So I was just thinking, maybe not a bad idea to say, first time I'm not going to use this at all. I'm going to see what do I get without extras. Maybe you're already quite happy with this minimal environment and say, I'll get my Vivaldi later, or I'll get my, I don't know, any application later with scripts. So to try it out, the minimal, which this is the last time I'll say it, there is no full and there is no minimal, there is just ArcoLinux B, which is basically built or based on what we had as a minimal one. The bare one, there are two bare ones, so if we had two bare ones, and we can still follow the tutorials how to create a bare one on ArcoLinux B, XFCE and BSPWM. The file is there, switch the file, build it. The bares will not be built anymore. Point is for ArcoLinux B that you build it. So if you want a bare version, files are available, you switch around, you got yourself a bare version. Now the Plasma, as you know, 2020 is going to be my intention to learn more about Plasma, and it really got it underwent, so to speak, a big change. We are now at 1.7 gigabytes for Plasma, which is very, very little. The full version was 2.7 and the minimal version was 2. How did I do that? There are lots of meta packages on Plasma, and the only two we've installed is these two guys. These two guys are on the ISO, and that's it. So if you're installing ArcoLinux B Plasma, I say this is too minimal, Eric. You can just click, or click everything up here, and everything will be installed. And again, you'll have the full version. Everything will be there with the extra that you want to have as well. So these two guys are always on the ISO, and whatever is on the ISO will never be listed in the Calamares installer. So it will, if you don't click anything here, you'll just have a working Plasma, basically. We've done some major changes to all ArcoLinux B ISOs, so 15 package files basically, because we're still working with one ISO. ArcoLinux ISO is the only ISO that exists, and everything is a derivative of one ISO. So we've done some changes, no application, no blank application, from ArcoLinux. Melt is installed, Sublime Text installed, Firefox installed, some helping tools, Tmux, we're gonna make tutorials about Tmux, D menu is installed, we would like to have a Super Shift D on all our systems. That's this one. So our fingers already know what to press. It's the D menu from i3, and it's always on the tiling window manager, so easy to launch some application with that way. And well, finger memory, right? Our fingers are faster than our brain. Then some extra help. ZSH, we'll get into that later. It's installed. If the tiling window managers needed something, a volume icon up there, something to equivalent and as this one, but this is XFCE, something to tell, make it louder, or go to the Control-Alt-U, right? The PAVU control. Then we have a way to do that. I'll let you read the rest. What's another milestone? And that's a major one, I suppose. Encryption has never been my important thing to have or anything like it, because, well, I have a desktop and it never leaves home. So it doesn't even have a password in the sense that I auto-log in at home. But if you are on the road and you have a laptop and you want to really make sure that nobody gets to your data, well, then this is your thing, right? If you can encrypt right from the start, from grub, even before grub boots up, it's gonna ask what's your password. Without it, it will not boot up. That's the idea. Now, it was already possible. In some cases, we were not possible to do a swap hibernate, I believe. So in Calamares, you can actually choose 3 things: no swap, swap no hibernate, swap with hibernate. And then the only thing you have to do is type here your password, and then that's it. Confirm, confirm, click, and what you get in the end a system that says here encrypted. You see? Encrypted X4, encrypted Linux swap. And another one, this is Cinnamon, and this is Mate. This is what I mean with the ArcoLinux D or the ArcoLinux look. It says ArcoLinux D here. This is the way ArcoLinux Mate looks straight out of the box. So that's gonna be awesome if you're going to experiment with ArcoLinux D. I can only point you in that direction to experience it yourself. But remember, tiling window managers, never forget a scal. So we can encrypt basically. We have 3 options here, plus encrypt, so it means 6 options, right? You can experiment with it, and the strange thing is, that we've migrated from something that's quite new, like hot, to something that's a year old. KPM Core Git is now used, and we've seen as a result that we can now make encrypted partitions with not any issues. But I'm following up the matter, and it seems that we're going to get the KPM Core 4.1, I believe it is. I'm gonna test it again if that's gonna solve our issue in the newer package, so that we can switch back to the new one and still have our encrypted choices here. All right, so that's a major thing. Trying out another package, a package that's a year old, and discovering that suddenly everything works in the encryption. All right, thanks to Brad, we have a ArcoLinux tweak tool. Yeah, very happy about it. A Control-Alt-E and a password, and there you go. This is our latest ArcoLinux tweak tool. We can change any of these things. It's just awesome, and it's going to be even more awesome. We have lots of ideas to make it better. So there's a tool and there's an article to keep you all up to date with all the new tabs that are gonna happen and all the things that are gonna change. And because of it, some of our packages have updated. We've changed added ArcoLinux default theme, added a Passion Dark theme, changed or updated theme Vimix as well. All these things have just went out today at this point in time. If you update it already, you have it already. And with a Control-Alt-E, you see you get this thing, but things will change, right? It's a work in progress, and all it needs is time, testing, and so on. Another app that Brad has created is a welcome app. So it's great to see that we have this thing that pops up and say, hey, welcome to ArcoLinux. When you're installing ArcoLinux on a live DVD or live USB would be better, is that you're greeted with it. And during the installation, get here the idea saying, hey guys, why not first run gparted, clean everything up, clean a slate, and then install Calamares, and then you will have zero issues whatsoever. So that's basically what we did. 2 buttons, run gparted, run Calamares. And if you're not connected to the internet, we'll tell you, because if you're gonna select any of our things here up here and you do not have internet, everything will be installed smoothly without all the selections here. So Calamares will just assume that it's not possible, and it will not do anything, but it will just install whatever is on the ISO, no extras. So that's our Ctrl-Alt-W, by the way. So another thing we've done, Ctrl-Alt-W is there, and we have a nice little icon going to the tweak tool. Okay. All right. Let's scroll down. It looks different in Plasma, obviously. Black screen, black theme. Here are the Plasma changes. So besides the fact that the ISO is very, very small now, but still workable, and that just mean I just work on it without any issues, and I don't need the games, and I don't need all the other stuff, but maybe you do, so you select it if you want them, or install them later. There were some things that I was missing. I was missing the idea to convert from PNG to GPG, and then upload the GPG to the websites. I was missing the compare with meld. So the meld menu, 2 files, select them in Dolphin, compare with meld. Setting the wallpaper as a GPG or on a GPG or PNG image, sorry. So I go to the wallpaper folder, select one as oh, that's a nice one, right mouse click. I was missing that as well. So these things can now be installed with sudo pacman -s ArcoLinux Plasma key services, but it's ready and available on the ISO. All right. The fact that I was not able to go up was annoying. Use arrow to navigate. Standard in Plasma, it's not there. Create a folder, it's a nice thing to have, but open folder is now something I couldn't miss. Right, so open folder is much faster than right mouse click and then navigating down to find the open terminal thing. So there you go, we have some nice additions that are making our workflow just better. Now on the ArcoLinux B Plasma, I've also put the SDDM in there. It's already installed, but it's not used. LightDM is used. So the only thing you need to do is type this. You're going to say, enable me SDM service with force, because there is already something, there is already LightDM available. So I need to overwrite it. And that's the -F, force SDM to become the one and only display manager. So that's an easy thing to do, an easy switch for you to go immediately after an ArcoLinux B installation, switch to SDM if you want to. But of course, it's not a nice one. I mean, it's the standard SDDM service. Our LightDM service or greeter is nice, it's tweaked, it's themed. So this is still pretty much the standard one. We've gone to this menu. We've heard the remark that the menu was much too big. So we are now at a very small window, and it looks like this. And well, you see, if you like it, with a right mouse click on the icon, you can easily switch between 3 of the menus and even install more from the internet. So that was all about Plasma. Now, if we go to the future content will contain the ISO, the package list, so everything that's on the ISO. It's interesting. I just gave the tip to somebody on Discord. He wanted to know what do you need for ZSH. So Control F, ZSH. Go and have a look. We have our own package, ArcoLinux SZH, which contains the .zshrc, the oh, my ZSH kit is installed. What else? As ZSH itself, the completions and the syntax highlighting. All these packages have something to do with the ZSH as a shell, a different shell as bash. So you can always figure out what's the difference between this one and last month's, or this one and Plasma, and so on. It has a package list. ND5SEH, SHA256 all concerned to figure out if the ISO is changed somehow at some place at some time, right? It starts here on the PCs locally, check the codes, check the numbers, it goes on the servers, there they'll be checked again, I checked both of them against them, and everything is okay, fine, and assigned as well. So all is explained in here and in the video, how to check it. So the OK is important, OK is important, OK is important, and last thing, good signature from Eric Dubois is important, and all the rest is not important. So that's a way how to check if the ISO that we intended to give to you really got to you. I mean, exactly with these checks, you can exactly know if it's correct or not. We have a nice fun script, which is our dog. And then actually, we have a long list of general improvements. Yeah, so during development, things were discovered. We still had some open issues. We have a to-do list that we try to work through, and I just put them all under general improvement, but some of them are quite important. Well, one of the things that we put an error back in, where we put a bug back in, or how do you say it, because of the fact that we've revisited all our packages list of all the desktops, we've put back in the network manager applet, which is great when you boot up an ArcoLinux Deeping, but afterwards it should be gone. After installation, Deeping has its own network manager inside this menu on the right. So it shouldn't be in here, otherwise we'll have double. So we fixed that, so it's out afterwards, after installation. A lot of tiling window managers still had a to-do job about assigning applications. At some point in time in my life, I had i3. I was working on i3, on Ubuntu and Solus and Tergos. I took it everywhere. This i3 configuration, it works everywhere. It's not dependent on any architecture or distro, it just works. So the config traveled with me. And at some point in time, I said, okay, for me, workspace 1 is browsers, 2 is editors, 3 is GIMP, 4 is Inkscape, 5 are all images and melt, 6 is VLC, 7 is VirtualBox, 8 is everything file manager, Nautilus, Nemo, Tunar, 9 was Evolution and Mail and all that, and 10 was for me Spotify. And it is still in my mind like that. But what you can do is, rather than clicking on one and then Ctrl-Alt-F Firefox, Ctrl-Alt-V Vivaldi, you can actually tell the system wherever I am. I'm currently on workspace 10, and when I press Ctrl-Alt-E, that's the welcome menu. No, that's a bad example because we changed it. Ctrl-Alt-F, let's stick with the browsers. Then it should go to the workspace 1. That's what we mean with assigning. You can assign applications to move, to open up, and to get focus there on a particular workspace. So this is tiling window manager related, right? Herbstluft WM is a tiling window manager, and we've done that for several of our systems, assigning Spotify to open on workspace 10, assigning GIMP to open on workspace 3, and stuff like that. So that's what we've done for these two. So this is one that's actually quite important. It's in the general things, but it's an idea we had. Xmonad is actually an application. It's compiled. And what happens is that if Xmonad package update comes in, and you don't press Super Shift R, it's not recompiled. You log out, you log back in or reboot, right? And you're stuck at the light DM. We've made tutorials about it, how to overcome that, but basically people are people and they forget to run Super Shift R if there's an update of Xmonad. And then you're stuck in the light DM. We can fix it, there's a solution, as I said here. But now we have something hidden away somewhere, a Pacman hook that says if there is an Xmonad in, then recompile Xmonad. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll not have the question again, hey, Xmonad crashes, we can't log in, right? So that's something we've done for Xmonad. Not only Xmonad, but other tiling managers as well have the volume icon. It's a little icon, just more or less like this one, but it provides our ease and comfort to make it well, louder, and also to get to the PAVU control, so the pulse audio volume control, that which I've shown you with Ctrl-Alt-U. So this guy, right? It's rather big, I must say. Come on, smaller, yep, something like that. We got rid of the BashRC latest. BashRC latest is no more, which means Ctrl-H, there is no BashRC latest. If you still have one, delete it. It's not used anymore. So what I am using is the BashRC personal, which is actually an addition. So this one never will be overwritten. This is your thing. You put your own stuff in here, stuff that you like to have, aliases that you like to have. Those are in there. I have my own as well. CP has been changed, shorter version. Okay, CP, fine. So important, just delete BashRC latest. If you've been updating all the time, you'll be fine. Some changes for the local applications. It means that there's a little trick. Everything that I put in here is not shown in the menu. So there are some applications that really shouldn't be in the menu at all because there's no use to have them there, and that's the little trick. So these guys are out, are not shown. They are no application we need. The LXQT package list has been overlooked or has been overviewed, and we've added some more practical stuff that really is for Qt stuff, right? Q. So applications that are made for Qt environment, the Qt environment. And this guy is out of the ISO. We told you that ZSH is supported and OMyZSH as well, and because of the OMyZSH you get these different colors each time I open up a terminal when I'm on ZSH. Then you'll get a nice new prompt on your terminal. And sometimes you say, oh, I want to keep this one, and then you write it down because on the top here you see the terminal name. No, nowhere in the print screen, but up here says it gives you the theme of ZSH, and that's the one you should write down. That's the one you should fix. At this point in time, everything is set to random every time something new. Every information is available here, and here is our alias that we use to switch between bash and ZSH. Very simple. To ZSH, then log out, log in, to bash, then log out, log in, and we're back. What is important, and that's experience-wise, is if you're building ISOs, we want you to switch to bash. You'll have no issues if you go to bash. I've seen strange things happening on ZSH, all right? So be warned and think about it. We've had some little small things to do, like for instance, the budget wallpaper was not yet the standard wallpaper. It is now. The Super X was not working, or just not working, it was just missing. So okay, forgot the Super X, it now has something. The deeping wallpaper is fixed as well. We have the standard wallpaper there. And then we had a big update from Variety, and we've changed our config accordingly. and we've changed some elements. Variety is started at boot. We need it to set our wallpapers. We've discovered we actually do need it to have all 15 and even more desktops to follow. We need the variety to set our wallpapers on all the systems and all the desktops. It's super easy. But we will not change your wallpaper. I mean, it's up to you to decide if you are going to set it, and it's all very simple. In preferences, you say don't start up, don't want to see you. It will not be there, the icon will not be there. Simple as that. Will never change your wallpaper ever. But what I do is I go also and tell him this is not my favorite wallpapers. I will go to my own personal wallpaper folder, and now I have the choice between 1500 wallpapers to choose from. Let's go for Tron. Voila, close. And now we'll have a wallpaper from Tron. So you can use it, you can delete it, it's all good for us, but we do need it to set it to have a beautiful wallpaper when you boot up. First impressions matter. Okay, we've worked together with them as well on GitHub, so variety. You'll see several issues I've posted there, and things have been solved for us, so that's great. So we adapted our scripts and configs accordingly, and we'll follow up because I think Awesome is still the one to follow up. But right, I'm very happy with the cooperation with the developers of Variety. Remember starting at some point in time with F12, right? And we have this F12 thing popping out of the top of our screens. Well, we kind of miss them in other systems. So we were on other desktops and say, hey, where is my drop down? So we have added everywhere an F12. It will launch XFC terminal and help sleuth WM. And if available, if there's something specific available on a desktop like Guake, right? That's something for GNOME, for Budgie. Then we're using that one. Deeping has its own as well. So if not available, then we'll use XFC4. But if, well, appropriate, we'll use some other means of getting in F12 drop-down terminal. But it looks awesome. And it's out of the way, just up, click, up, done. So most of the time I do an up all stuff like that, up all, and check it out, and then say, okay, what's he going to do? Fine, and then let him run, and then later I'm gonna see, oh, yeah, everything is installed, fine. So it's a convenient thing, and we'll probably have it on the future desktops as well. There are some general changes to ArcoLinux ISO. So the variety things have changed, nitrogen and so on. I'll let you read those. Blank is no longer there, so ArcoLinux ISO, no blank up here. We'll keep it very minimal when you boot up, but it has a blank. It's installed, the themes are installed, but it will be only there in OpenBox, since that's quite a minimal one. And people might think, hey, it's broken with if they don't press the right mouse control. Right mouse click, I mean, they will not have anything available in OpenBox, so we'll have the blank there. Yeah, general improvements. We did make a decision, and I hope we will not regret it, but we'll keep it in mind to check it out for next month again. So we've removed the X cursor breeze because lots of users were having trouble with Plasma. Plasma has its own cursor called breeze. An X cursor and breeze cursor are exactly the same thing, the same folder, files and so on. What Pacman does is say, no, I will not install it, this conflicts. So we've got a lot of users saying, hey, this is a problem, blah, blah, blah. Issues, frustrations, time is lost, right? The solution for me is to install Breeze and Breeze icons, the dependencies and all the dependencies that come with it, and that's the thing. Lots of dependencies have been installed as well because of it. So we'll evaluate and see how it goes. But at this point in time, there is super flexibility. I mean, you can install Plasma on any, combining with everything else without having this conflict all the time between this guy and that guy. No conflicts anymore. No frustrations. That was the idea. We'll see what we'll do next month. Still Carly to do and DWM, GWM. We see posts about Spectrum, Spectre WM. So there's lots of other stuff to do, which is fun, which means we keep on going, and that's the idea. Keep on learning and keep on developing. And that's it. I'm through. So basically, what I feel is the most important part, and I would urge you to try it if you've never done it before. Might be a good thing to have a go at ArcoLinux. It gives a complete different feeling to it. If you just say, I'm gonna go for light DM and then for XFCE, but not this button, just use then the XFCE4 and XFCE4 goodies. Then you'll see how it looks if you're installing a version XFCE, and you get the Arch Linux feel. This was really fun to see how you get this Arch Linux vibe on our thing, an ArcoLinux thing. So that's really interesting for me. And of course, ArcoLinux B Plasma is also quite changed and interesting, because we have less and less and less stuff on there. And well, it seems all to work. Everything seems to work. I mean, games and graphics, you don't need all these things. And the multimedia, what do I need? VLC, that's it. And have my Spotify. So basically, we don't need all these apps. If you do want them, well, just click here and everything is installed. You have back a Plasma, a full Plasma. All right, I hope you enjoy our system. I do believe, but I'll let you be the judge. I do believe this is a milestone. It gives us lots of freedom, gives us lots of variety to choose from. We'll see how the future will look. Probably will be different next time around, next month, but this is a great milestone, so to speak. All right, I'm out. Enjoy ArcoLinux, guys.